listening to In-Fisherman Storyline, North America's top voice in multi-species freshwater angling. Here is your host, Thomas Allen.
Well, we're up and running. We got an exciting show for you, and In-Fisherman Storyline is all about bringing you good stories, and we're going to kind of do another after-hours session where we're going to dig into some state-of-the-industry stuff, talk to a couple guys. I'll introduce them here shortly, but before we do that, let's do a little housekeeping, and I'm excited to do this because it means we've got friends, we've got partners in the industry that want to help us along, and I want to pass along some exciting news that LL Bean is the iconic brand that you know for quality. They make this super cool plaid shirt. They got a great hat. They got some good stuff going on, but you know their gear is deeply rooted in passion. They're made by outdoorsmen for outdoorsmen, and not to mention. They have some great waders. We're going to talk about those later in the show, but if you're looking for waders, LL Bean's the way to go. This partnership will bring even more great stories, expert tips, and outdoor inspiration to anglers everywhere. LL Bean, we're glad you're here. And welcome to the palatial LL Bean Studios. We're perched atop the Twin Towers of In-Fisherman headquarters overlooking downtown Birmingham, which is not Birmingham, but Brainerd. So, yeah, there's another B town I used to live in that kind of stands out. But we got some cool guests in here, so let's get to that. LL Bean, thanks for being here. Thank you for listening. Over here, we've got Evan Blakley, a face that you would like to forget, but you've probably seen before. He's sat in one of these couches, and we've fixed the world problems, and local angler and future classic champ, I would have to say. And then on my right-hand side, the smiling face over there is Ted Stardig. Ted is the owner, operator, CEO, president, boss man of Toxic Rods, custom rod builder. And we're going to talk a little bit about that today too. But I kind of feel like, Ted, let's dig right in. In a world of you got to have the right gear, the custom rod world has really kind of become a big thing. And your rods are excellent. I have one, and I'm getting another one here in a little while.
I appreciate that.
They're beautiful. Yes. Why do it?
Why custom rods? Amongst all the companies of rods, there's so many out there. It's kind of to dial in that exact specific thing you want, that color you want, that logo you want for all that stuff. And that's just something we can do that the big boys can't do, and it's specialized.
It's built for you.
It's built for you. Yeah.
Well, one of the things that I've been fascinated by, I've worked closely in the industry with the gear side of the business, and I've been able to test a lot of different products. And something that's always just really captured my attention is the technique-specific way that the fishing industry is going. And I think there's a lot of people out there, and they're probably right to an extent. Like, you might really only need, you could get by with 3 or 4 rods. If that's all you had, could you do almost everything? There's an argument to be made, but I feel like you're better in some situations, and Evan is especially a testament to the power shot thing that you do.
The specialist.
We're going to.
Why are we talking about that?
Cat's already.
Do we got to talk about
I know it.
Oh,
it's good and bad.
I told the wrong people.
Well, but it's that rod is different than any other rod I have. Like, there's no action even close to it.
Did you buy one of them?
Yeah, I have. We have 2.
Oh, good job. You always got to buy them in pairs.
He didn't tell you?
No, he's trying to hide it from me.
I know it's a love-hate with talking about
I'm
it.
pretty sure
totally
I talked to you about this. I'm sure we did, but I bought one for my son. But
awesome.
It's a technique that I really want to learn, and don't worry, I haven't learned it. So I've got the rod in case we can get some things figured out. But as a bass angler, as a guy that's been doing this as much as you do, the hours on your motor have to be insane. I mean, you're
my trolling motor?
Both.
Oh, man, both. My trolling motor gets a workout. My big motor, do some graphing, but you know,
you spend a lot of time on the water.
I do.
And so and I've seen the number of boats you put on, or rods you put on a boat. It's kind of absurd, but I understand why. You know, I have a similar tendency. But why technique specific for you? What does that give you? What kind of edge does that help with?
I mean, it all boils down to, efficiency. You could take, so like that power shot rod, me and Ted, I called him up one day and we kind of specialized that rod. I told him what I wanted to do and dialed it right in. He pretty much knew what he needed and locked it right in. It's awesome. Got a nice tip on it that kind of shakes. So like you can take a normal like medium heavy bait caster like I was using for the technique, and you'd throw it in there and you just can't get the shake. Trying to shake that worm or that creature bait in place. And it's so much work. It just doesn't shake. And then when they take it, a lot of times, you know, it's just that gentle load up bite. And that tip on his just loads into that little bit of tip and then right into backbone.
So are you visually seeing the bite happen most times, or are you feeling it?
Either watching my line or feeling it. A little bit of both.
But this rod enhances your ability to do both.
Oh, absolutely.
What part of the rod do you think you guys work together on to make this exactly what you wanted? What's a couple of the most important components?
I'd say it's all important, obviously.
Let's talk to the rod builder.
Yeah, rod builder guy, not the lowly bass
Yeah,
fisher.
but there was things you thought of, and I think your experience building the rod came together here.
Absolutely. And everything he's talking about, that's so rewarding for me. I mean, I love to fish and I try to compete with these guys and they're good. But when it comes to rods and designing that, I just love to hear exactly what he said about getting to the bottom of exactly what you want. And on that rod, I can kind of take what these guys, you know, are telling me and work with all my resources and blank companies and trial and error a little bit, a lot of recipes, and
well, that's the nature of
out
it.
with it. Yeah,
I think you kind of have to go through a few models to get exactly what you want. And do you feel like I guess how often are you working with a new design? Is that something that you deal with regularly?
Yeah, quite often. There's always somebody that wants something a little different, and you think you've thought of it all, and you'll have these guys, these good anglers, come to you, and they're like, I need this to do this. You're like, oh, that's really cool. I got it. Let's do it.
Can you get it the first time, or do you end up making a couple models?
We like to think we can. Evans, we
He
hit.
nailed it first shot.
We really did. I go, I think I got that blank. And after all the years of, you know, studying blanks and looking at all these things, we got that one.
Yeah. And when I say everything, I do mean everything. Like right down to the reel seat, most like so comfortable. You know, it just fits in your hand perfect. The butt is perfect length, so it's not excessive, but it's not short. So I could still reef on those things. The backbone of the rod. I mean, John really got sold on, the guy that fishes a lot of the local tournaments with me. I got a 3.5 pounder hung up in just the nastiest foil mat. And I literally I drove straight on top of that thing, and I just was laying everything into that rod. You know, he was throwing a drop shot on a spinning rod. Had broke one off that night, same thing. And I hooked it on that, and it was just reefed right up out of there.
So let's talk about
the
let's talk about the technique, because I think, you know, especially where we live, you deal with a lot of grass, different types of grass. You
Tons
have
of grass.
coontail, you have cabbage. What's the real stringy grass that we get? I don't know what you would call that.
I'm not a
eel
weed
grass
expert,
I don't know, but
It's like eel grass.
we
Eel
deal with
grass.
all kinds of stuff. I'm not a biologist.
no, but it's
Or a
important.
weedologist,
It's important for people to understand, if you want a kind of a presentation to work in all environments, it might need a different rod. And that's precisely what you're doing with this power shot. It's essentially a drop shot on a bait casting rig.
Correct.
And you're right. Most people think drop shot is finesse. They think spinning pole. They think probably smallmouth or hard bottom, which I think you could probably work a spinning pole drop shot in a lot of weed scenarios, but not as effectively as you do with this rod.
It's effective at getting the bites, but you're screwed when you hook them.
Yeah? Why is that?
You break them off.
With the spinning rod.
With your spinning
Yes.
rod, you break them off. You got drag you got to deal with. Bait caster's so powerful, so efficient, so fast. Yeah, no, I run that Tatuli Elite Flip Pitch Reel. It's just perfect. You know, big handles. You could just reef on it. And then with that rod, it's just like kind of the ultimate combo for it. And I love it.
So what would you compare the blank to, Ted? In my mind, it kind of has a crankbaity feel, but only halfway up. I feel like you got half a a flipping stick and half a crankbait rod. It's almost like they're both together that way somehow.
Yeah, it's got a pretty high strain carbon. That's nothing on a lower level blank. And then there is a little blend in it to give it that flex. So it's just something I dug deep and found, and it has the fit for that.
Okay. Was number of guides important to you? Either of you?
Oh, yeah.
I think
You got to have the
yeah.
right amount. Not too many, not too few. I don't know anything about it. I just you
Right.
pick up a rod and it's like, oh, that thing doesn't have enough guides on it, or
You can tell by looking at it in
yeah,
most cases.
just look. I don't know. That guy knows a lot more about rods than me.
I tend to lean usually like one more probably than a few builders, just to give that. I really want that line to follow that blank.
Mhm.
And like Evan said, you don't want too many, but you want a good amount to have that line follow with the blank perfectly.
That's a good way to put that. So
Yeah.
you're now, does the blank, is every blank different to a certain extent? Like if of the same action, you're going to have one rod that might want to, I mean, I know that it's round, but do you have to build them all a certain way with each blank to accommodate their
Yeah, you really do.
parabolic bend?
You do. And then once you have that dialed, I tell my wife, if something ever happens to me, that rod Bible I have might be worth a little bit of something to somebody.
Yeah.
Hang on to it. But yeah,
We'll start the
truly
bidding.
is that way.
Well, it's certainly a science to accommodate all the different presentations that I would say walleye and bass anglers seem to have an endless desire of what they want, how they want it to work. And I think you're kind of filling a niche that you can get exactly what you want. So when you take an order, what generally do people, what are they allowed to select? How many options do they have for, I guess, blanks and colors and components? How's that all work?
Yeah, it's really endless now that after all these years I built out so many suppliers and so many ways to get what I need. People look at price point. I've actually got a commercial construction company now ordering a big order of themed colored rods for, instead of doing their pheasant hunt, they're going to give a batch of rods away themed to their business. And yeah, it's endless that way.
That's pretty neat.
Yeah.
So you can almost
really
get it
cool.
personalized to your boat colors, to your jersey colors, whatever you can.
Yeah.
get it
Plus have that rod that's, of course, the most important to us, and performance.
I've had a lot of people say, "What are those rods with those green eyelets?"
Right?
Don't look at those. That's always
yeah,
the answer.
They look good, and
They do.
I'll be honest. I pulled the power shot rod out of the box for yesterday, and I mean, just with everything else, I stopped. I was like, man, I forgot how nice this thing is. Just
It's so light.
yep, it's
That tip
light.
just shakes.
It just feels good in your hand. I think there's an element to the personal touch that makes a custom rod
I believe in
worth
that.
the investment.
Yeah,
Absolutely.
for sure.
So when it comes to performance on the water, Evan, what is more frustrating than having something break?
Ooh.
Like when it comes down to it, when things break, and I don't care if it's electronics, if it's boat hatch lids, if it's trim, whatever the case may be, when you're on the water to compete, like how important is it that everything works? It's a stupid
That's-
question, but
That's everything. Like if your equipment fails you, like it's so hard. Fishing's a huge mental game. I mean, everyone that does it really knows this, and especially competitively. Like, if it's just a Saturday, I'm going fishing and I go out and something breaks. Okay, whatever. I got all day to fix it. I can go fix it and come back, catch fish. Cool. But in a tournament, like my time is everything. Something breaks on your boat. Now you got to deal with it in the moment. You're already kind of pushing the limits of your equipment in the tournament setting. And then now it's not working. Like you lose a trolling motor in a tournament, you're screwed. Your trolling motor batteries die, you're screwed. Your power poles or your Minn Kota Raptors or whatever quit working, you're in trouble. Like, especially certain situations. Some situations you can get by with certain things not working. But yeah, like, your motor quits running on your boat. I can't get back to weigh in, And
so what it comes down to is I think if you're going to dig into the tournament world, you need to invest in quality stuff.
absolutely. And take good care of it.
Take really good care of it. And it's so frustrating when you're in the heat of a tournament, or even if you're like, it's frustrating whenever it happens. But I guess give me some of your preventative maintenance, if you will. What do you do to make sure your rods are in good shape, your reels are in good shape, your boat's in good shape? What do you do on the regular basis to assure that? Because it ultimately is up to you in a lot of circumstances to make sure your stuff works.
Absolutely. I mean, always go into a tournament fresh leaders. If you're running a fluorocarbon rig, straight fluoro, respool that thing every tournament. Like, it's just not worth it. And then leaders, every chance I get, I tie new leaders. Every tournament I go into with all fresh leaders, everything that comes out on the deck gets a fresh leader. Like in the Champions Tour where we get a lunch break, the rods that I was using before lunch, that leader gets stripped and I'm rushing to get all them leaders retied because like that's a huge failure point, as we know.
Okay.
And I was on Vermilion this spring using a little power shot sneaky rod throwing a light Texas rig because you could throw that thing in a bed and you could shake the crap out of that tip. Boy, did that make them mad. You had the backbone to pull them out of there.
So you recognize weak points or break points just in general.
Oh,
and
absolutely.
You maintain those.
Yeah, 100%. And you gotta
leaders is an easy one. Dig
leaders
a little deeper.
are easy.
What about your boat?
I love it's so nice to clean it. Like before a big tournament, I like to just spray it all down, wax it off. I mean, you can look for any problems that you might have coming up on the hull, or like, oh hey, somebody got a little careless with a jig here, or that happens.
I don't know who would have done that.
Have boat
I don't
require maintenance.
Yeah, and check the oil on your motor. That's your lifeline. If you fire up, I got a 5-minute run back to weigh in, and I got 6 minutes to get there. I need that motor to start. If it doesn't, well, you just lost out. You might have a bag.
That's pretty interesting, and I know that in the tournament world, that's a super important place to start, but it doesn't stop at the tournament world. I mean, think about the guy that makes a couple trips north a year. His hard-earned vacation is reserved for his trip to Mille Lacs or Lake of the Woods or Devil's Lake or wherever, right? You don't want to get there and have your boat not work.
No.
Right.
So
No good.
I mean, what is the secret to maintaining a boat that doesn't get used all the time?
I guess either you can get, a good company, that'll maintain it for you. As a mechanic myself, I do pretty much everything I can all on my own, but I'm always just looking for any weak points, and I've been doing it a little while now, and I'm kind of getting, the idea where to look for.
Well, but it also helps that you're on the water so much because you can kind of maybe sense something is starting to degrade a little bit. You might have a weak spot beginning to show itself, right?
Mm-hmm.
So you're able to get ahead of that, and that's kind of key. But some days there's just nothing you can do.
Some days things just break. Last year in the Champions Tour Pro-Am, I hit like 3 waves into the morning. There are 2-footers, 2.5-footers. It wasn't even that bad. And all of a sudden, my little hold down for my Ultrex broke, and that
Did it go off the front?
It didn't fully deploy. I actually seen it coming. It kicked up, and I hammered the throttle and ate into the next wave and kicked the motor back down. But then it bent the bracket on the Ultrex, and that little troll tamer mount was sitting all funky, and that was a rough morning.
Here's one for you. It was the last tournament of the year, the last time I was going to have my boat on the water before I was giving it to the new owner. I was driving out on Big Winnie, a lake known for big waves, and I had boat number 2 out. Like it was good. Thanks, Brandon Cizik, for not showing up.
Nice of him to do that.
It was. But so I hit the big lake, and like the second wave, like you were saying, my top unit goes clunk, and the knob had come out.
Oh yeah.
And bounced, like it was gone, nowhere to be found.
Preventive maintenance would have fixed that.
You see where I'm going with this? You're already getting ahead of me.
Yeah, I double plated mine. Mine did the same thing.
You almost got to put some some Loctite on those things, but then they're a pain to get out. But anyway, so I had to stop, get up there, and I realized I wasn't gonna be able to fix it, so I took it off, knowing I wasn't gonna need it that day. Just the way that I was fishing, I didn't need.
You're not gonna scope up in the shallow cane grass.
I mean, that's scoping's cheating, right? I mean,
weird.
No. So I did. I took it off and stuffed it in my one of my rod lockers. I'm gonna tell you right now, had I just walked around the boat and gave everything a quick cinch down, which you should do on a windy day on Big Winnie.
You very well should.
Yep, never would have had the problem.
Probably right. All that little stuff adds up. Every time you go, every time it's something important.
Absolutely. Especially if you lost that graph over the side.
Oh my gosh, yeah. Can you imagine? I mean, that's how things turn bad pretty quick. So I mean, you definitely need to do a walk around, stay on top of things. I think that it's easy to sit here and say do it all the time, but it's also very easy to almost get complacent to an extent, especially at the end of the season. You're tired. You've had however many derbies you fished, you don't want to be done, but you're kind of in the auto mode, right? Autopilot mode, and you got
Not
to.
aware. Might have to explain it to me when I get older.
Yeah, Evan's nothing if not confident. I mean, we'll give.
You
him
gotta be though. It's all part of it.
The fall tournaments, like, why do we not have a series around here that goes into December? If I could break ice through December, let me eat. Like, I want them things.
I think we should.
Well,
Yeah, sorry.
might have to.
Sorry, work, but my Friday Indian summer day is at about 10 a.m. when it's ooh,
Those nice calm fall days where it warms up a little bit. Oh man,
those are hard to beat around here. Awesome.
yeah, I'm aware.
I'm aware.
Yeah, I could be into that. I only kind of tossed it around last year.
Well, sounds like someone
That
needs
would be
to.
very cool.
I'm not much of a planner. I'd like to show up and try and take your money though.
I know you would. And that's true. You are a planner. You just plan what you want to plan.
Absolutely,
Don't worry about what you don't want to.
exactly.
You got a lot going on.
I do. Catching basses, tough business.
So, state of the industry. This is one of the fun things I like to talk about. I think it changes seems to change by the week. Evan, I know you and I have talked often about where things are at, and I think we agree on almost everything. Ted, I'm curious. Have you kept up on a lot of the pro level? We'll say the pro level complaining that has gone on lately over the last few months.
It's hard to miss.
It is hard to miss.
I catch up after work and watch a lot of that stuff, and yeah.
What do you think? So we have a growing situation here, an evolving situation where
We do.
there seems to be I think there's a lot more haters to forward-facing sonar than I might have realized. And it's boiled up in the musky world. We'll talk about this. I had an interesting conversation this last week with a guy that I respect and trust, and I may change my tune a little bit in the musky world, but we'll go to that in a little bit here. But what's your opinion on all this? And don't hold back.
No, not at all. And I've got some young guys, some walleye guys and stuff, and they have their opinions too, and they've grown up with that from day one. And I'm a little older, did not have it for many, many years. And I think sitting back looking at it, my kind of opinion is we just got to find a way in these derbies and situations to make everybody happy.
But can you make everybody happy?
That's impossible.
I mean, that's the question.
I know, that's
Unfortunately.
the $1 million question. How do our big organizations accommodate? Because at the end of the day, we've got to get the sponsorship money and all, non-endemics to buy in.
So
And to raise the level of our game.
the quick answer there, and this is not like I have the answer, but the quick thought that comes into mind is, if we want to make everybody happy, then like a 50-50, no forward-facing sonar, some forward-facing sonar. But then comes the issue, how are you going to police that? Because
Right.
I'm not taking that off. I mean, it's a lot of work to put it on there. I know that there's some, I think Major League Fishing has some type of
Like a cover.
a cover.
But you got to have a marshal in the boat.
You got to so there's a way to
Yeah.
enforce it.
Right.
I think what I'm concerned with is how do we take this, which is going to trickle its way down, is how do these regulations, how do these formats affect the grassroots organizations? That's a scary thing in my mind.
That is a scary thing. Man. It goes both ways. So fast, so quick. And I'm not against it. And I can see both sides. I love using it. And I don't know what the answer is.
Well, I don't know that I have an answer yet either. I think that we're still kind of wading through the muddy waters. And Evan is going to give these Evan Blakley answers. I'm already prepared for him, where
They're coming.
he will fish no matter what, and that's fine.
100%.
That's
Oh,
fine.
there you go. Yeah.
Right. I have no problem with that attitude, but it really, like, what are we going to stand for? It's death by 1,000 cuts. It's the frog in the kettle mentality. Yeah. If you're just going to continually take the new regulations shoved down your throat, like, eventually, what if they're like, we don't like high speed bait casters. We want you to use a fly reel.
Right.
We got to be fair. I mean, you silly grin, but listen though, like, we do have stuff coming that paves the way for more regulation, paves the way for more restriction. And I don't know that forward-facing sonar to me is worth the sacrifice to get us where we're going to be force-fed more stuff. So,
Well, and then what's next? Oh crap! The same guys are still winning tournaments.
oh, you're right,
Big surprise there.
100%.
Everyone
right.
that knows, you
Yeah.
I'm not catching these fish around here on forward-facing sonar. I'm flipping grass,
Mm-hmm.
most of the time. Fishing docks. I'm not using forward-facing sonar. I might pick up an extra one or two on, on a sand flat that I see on perspective or something, but, pretty rare.
So, what's your opinion of the answer? What would you do?
I say, let's all get better. Let's keep using everything we have at our bass fisheries around here anyways. I haven't done much for the traveling thing, but around here, our fisheries are better than ever. There's more fish. There's bigger fish. We're all getting better at catching them, and they seem to just love it. They love getting caught. Seems like the more you can catch, Gull Lake, it's going to crash. It's going to crash.
It hasn't.
It gets better every
We
year,
are
I
in
swear.
such a good spot here.
It's dumb.
amazing.
I've talked with a few people that are lifetimers here, lifers here that have been here for 30, 40 years. And how long have you lived here?
5, 6, but
Okay.
born
Minnesota?
here, came here and back. Yes.
Okay.
Yeah, for sure.
So when I first discovered the Minnesota bass fishery, I had just married my wife, and it's 22 years ago. Good for her. And the fishing was different. The bass fishing was incredible. But you never saw a power pole. You never saw a bass boat. There's, some of the best bass fisheries were a road launch, or you're putting in on a dirt launch. They were just really hard to get in and out of. And I think that there are still some opportunities like that, but a lot of people will blame anglers, will blame fishing pressure on those fisheries not being as good. But I remember, and I'm not a biologist, but I mean, how old is a 6-pound bass? I mean,
I have no idea.
probably 14, 15 years,
I believe so.
something like that.
Right in there.
Rob was just here a little bit ago, our managing editor. He's a fisheries biologist. He would have that answer. But think about how, obviously it takes 14 to 15 years, if that's the actual number, don't quote me on that, to regrow a fish that size, right?
Mm-hmm.
So if when I started fishing the area, the numbers of giants were so abundant that maybe the age class sort of died out. And they aged out. They were at the end of their life cycle, and that happened to be a really, really good age class. Or maybe there were 4 or 5 years that were really, really good, and now we're kind of on the rebuilt side of that. So when people say the fishing's just not as good as it used to be, I'm a little skeptical of that, because there's a lot of reasons that may have changed the fishery. So is forward-facing sonar ruining these fisheries?
I would say no.
Ted?
I would absolutely say no too. From what I see and hear, and our bass community and the walleye guys, man,
So what is
there
go-
are fish.
You want to go drive around Gull right now and tell me there's no walleyes out there?
Yeah, and same with our other
Yeah, I can't-
favorite lakes. They're loaded.
I can't catch them, but boy, there's a lot of them.
Yeah.
I did throw a minnow at one last night in the tournament just for
Did you?
fun.
Did you
like
catch it?
20? Oh, that thing just vapor trailed it. He was like 3 feet under the surface, just cruising. Nice windy night, overcast. I threw the minnow over him and shook it like 3 times. And that thing just, I was digging it out of his throat. It was fun.
So as far as effects and impacts on the fishery, I agree. I don't see there being necessarily a negative impact. Now, we've been doing fish in the live well tournaments for as long as I can remember,
Long
and
time.
I mean, you do catch a merp fish every once in a while. You might catch one that's got a little deformed lip, but most of them aren't skinny. I don't know that fish, having got caught, affected his ability to feed. I don't know that that's true.
I don't think any of the damage done there was from putting him in the live well.
I don't. Well,
digging the hook out of him.
right, but I mean, if you do see a fish with a messed up mouth, that's likely the result of a hook.
Oh, absolutely.
So what I'm saying is the bass fishing intensity, the carting around in a live well, the electronics are not affecting the fishery, and I don't disagree with you that the fishery is excellent. Is it as good as it's ever been? I think that's up for a little bit of debate, but it's not bad. It's not in bad shape at all. And Gull Lake is one of those anomalies. I would consider it to be like a gull or like a Gunnersville that has a tremendous amount of fishing and tournament pressure on it, yet it still continues. I mean, a couple dudes put out 27 pounds on a wildcat the other night and got third place at Gunnersville.
Wow.
Like it still has that potential, the right times of year, the right bites to kick out amazing numbers of big sizes. So
we got 10-pounders up here.
but here,
Yep.
I think gull is of that realm where at least the awareness, people are putting fish back. You get smallies getting into the mix.
Yeah.
I found all kinds of those, by the way, the last few days, and it's like we can't fish for them on Sunday. My son's got
You see some on beds.
yeah, yeah. There's a couple big ones.
Yeah.
They're still doing it.
That tournament last weekend was hard watching them.
Yeah.
I want you.
So that's the kind of that's another point of discussion I want to get to. But before we do, so what's going on in the muskie world? So the basically where this started is I'm not going to throw any names in there because I certainly don't want to throw anybody under the bus. But several years ago, a young guy entered a PMTT, a pro muskie tournament trail event, and kicked their asses with forward-facing sonar. And I think he probably had numbers of graphs and transducers on his boat. Before the next tournament, the organization outlawed the technology. Well, they're grumpy that a young kid came in and whipped their hiney. Now, at first, I was like, and I still don't think that was a good move by that tournament trail. I mean, they've really become even more irrelevant since that. But they make the calls that ain't my business. All right, I'm not sitting here throwing stones. I disagree with it, but it's their call. Well, that has become a bigger issue, and there have been special interest groups formed across the state, and I think in other muskie states where they're kind of coming together. And what they're grumpy about is that there are numbers of new anglers getting into the sport that can pick up forward-facing sonar and go to a muskie lake and hammer big fish. And it's not like they're just catching a couple extra a year. It's they're catching 300 a year, which
Gotcha.
I'm going to tell you right now, my best muskie year, I caught like 12.
Right.
I mean, and that was a good year. Saw a lot of fish, caught a lot of fish. So what's the problem with that? Well, it's not so much the technology, it's putting big fish in inexperienced hands.
Ease of seeing the muskie.
They're in their loafing areas, you know, they're when they were offshore, nobody knew how to catch them.
Gotcha.
Because they were just out there floating around like a barge, eating perch, eating whitefish, whatever it is they eat out there. Nobody knew they were there. Well, now you can run around scoping, throw a big bait out there, and almost guaranteed they turn on it and eat it.
And they guarantee they eat it.
Dude,
You're going to turn them.
okay. I said almost guarantee.
Almost.
But here's the problem. And this is something I didn't think about. There is a little bit of a delay between what you're seeing on the screen and what's happening at the end of your line. Just enough so that if you don't set the hook at the right point on a muskie, a lot of times those baits are going way back farther in their throat than they should.
Causing some trouble.
A little bit of trouble. Now, this is a person, generally, this is not everybody. And there are some guides that promote good catch and release and handling tactics. But what's happening is a lot more of these fish are being caught. Our stocking programs are not supporting the catch rates. In fact, our stocking efforts have gone way down. They've been scaled back. They were supposed to be stocking them in gull at a regular basis. I have not seen one out there. Have you?
A few have been turning up. I haven't personally caught one. I've seen a couple.
You've seen a couple?
I've seen a
But-
picture this spring, I think. Maybe.
Yeah,
Yeah, some pretty good ones. Guys are
Walleye
catching.
Dan catch one? I think
I think he caught one like last year.
Might have been last year.
Yeah.
Guys are catching them though. Some of like the league night guys, you know, they're fishing pike and stuff. They're throwing.
They're
big
showing up
baits.
a little bit.
And
A little bit at a time, but it's the
look good,
The rate at which they're stocking is not sustaining the interest in fishing.
right.
And Mille Lacs, I don't even know if they stock in Mille Lacs anymore.
I don't know.
You know, one of the greatest musky fisheries on the planet, and it is just falling away by the day. So I don't have the answer, but the forward-facing sonar thing is an interesting perspective because I don't want to say that it's easy, but it's easy compared to how it was before forward-facing sonar. That's a fish, with my opinions intact, otherwise, that's a fish being impacted by forward-facing sonar in a negative way.
But I've never really seen. Not that I fish around. I don't do much musky fishing. You know, I'll leave it at that. But I don't see them dead floating around. I mean, have you?
No. And that's been the guy
I look like I'm always looking, and
I talked with
easy to notice. You're gonna
right. The ones I catch look great, I don't know. I don't see them floating. I don't see, maybe I don't know what the mortality would be.
Well, here's a question. If you see one floating, do you know how it died?
Not a bit.
I mean, it could have got hit by a prop.
Right.
It might have choked on a perch.
Want to get hit by that prop if the guy was running live scope while he's running down the lake. You see it coming 100 feet away. Let's get around him.
Well, now having said that, the guy I talked to this weekend, his main point is like he is not about banning any technology. What he's about is, I guess, a little bit more awareness at the ramps, a little bit more concern about how long it takes to grow a muskie. We talked about how long it takes to grow a trophy bass. Well, it takes a long time to grow a 50-inch muskie, 25 years. So if more people are handling more of those fish, naturally that's an element of stress being pushed out there, and it's being increased on that species that's already in limited numbers. So I don't know what's right, but man, we're getting down this road of banning stuff. I can't get behind banning stuff.
It's difficult. Not a big fan.
What do you think?
Yeah, you can't ban it with the musky thing though. I can see, the more individual fish, and they're so big and they're easy to target with the scope. And
how would you police it, right? Like,
what would you do with that to give them a little more protection than not? Yeah, that's tough.
So they're putting up some signs. That's a thing that's happening. They're at the boat ramp. Anytime there's a musky fishery, they've got like a smorgasbord of signs. Size limits, etc., things like that. So I think they're trying to make people think twice, but I just don't know where I stand on it. I want to be on the right side of the musky thing because I do care about the fish, but I sure feel like we're pushing it. But then again, okay, Evan, should there be a limit to how many units you have on your boat and how many inches of screen? Like,
I personally think not.
No?
Like, I don't know how you can run any more than really 2 at a time. Like, I know guys have done it and good for them. Like, I'm not that coordinated. I run 2 transducers, one in perspective, one in forward. I pretty much see everything I feel like there is to see. I know some of the guys, that was a thing where they were putting them on their jack plates and stuff. And,
yeah, on the back, out the side.
Yeah, and guys were scanning with them, and I just maybe down south where they got more shad fisheries and stuff, you could maybe pick up the shad better on that than like side imaging or whatnot. But I see most everything. You're always looking, and the only thing I could see with too many graphs up front is you get too tall. You get too tall, you can't see over them. But that's
kind of isn't that Bassmaster in the opens? Didn't they? That was kind of the thing, was we're getting too tall at the.
Mm-hmm. Well, yeah, it was 100% on our workboat here. I've got a 12-inch and a 13-inch unit at the front. Mm-hmm. And because it's a deep V multi-species boat, it's got that little step up, right, where the trolling motor sits. And to have them visible for you to see them, I've got one that's on the front that's coming off of that step and one coming off the floor. And that one that's up front on the bow is like, I have to lean out around to see around it.
Yeah.
And so it's a very conscious thing I have to do. On my bass boat, I'd say there's about a 3 to 5 second time frame where I can't see much with it, but if you look before you take off, but you got to remember to do that, right? Mm-hmm. So last year I was fishing a tournament at Cass Lake, and somebody almost hit me.
Oh, geez.
Yeah, and it was at the end of the day. We were done weighing in, ready to go, and all of a sudden I look over and this boat's coming up on plane. Like, he can't see anything, and I can see everything under his boat. That's how close he was. Eesh. And I got up and yelled right as his boat was just far enough around where he could see me, and he stopped immediately. And I'm telling you, less than 10 yards.
Jeez. Yeah. And I don't think it's all attributed to the graphs for that. It's a lot of People need to pay attention.
That's 100%.
Put your
right.
phones down.
Yeah,
How many
look
people do you see
before you,
graphing around on these
can.
lakes with their phone in their hand?
Well, you remember the video?
Dude, why are you graphing?
There was a video, and that was the Southern Reservoir where this guy just ran into the back of this other dude's
yeah,
boat.
just drove right
Oh, I
into
saw
it.
and he's
that
on his
one.
phone.
I saw that one. Yeah.
And he's like, "Oh, I gotta let you go." Right after he runs this guy's boat, it's like, bro, really? Like, at least you have the
He hit
courtesy.
him pretty good too.
Yeah,
It was
totally.
bad. Bad.
That kind of stuff happens. But I mean, so here we are. We're talking about a thing we've talked about an awful lot on this podcast, and I think that it warrants additional discussion because we're not through it yet. There's going to be changes yet further, and for me, I'm surprised Minnesota hasn't taken a stronger action on it, because if there's one state that is super anal retentive about its fisheries, it's got to be Minnesota at the top of that list. But I don't know. Maybe they're democratic enough that they want to make sure that we have the decision as anglers. But have either of you ever been to any type of fisheries town hall where you voiced your opinion or get a survey on your phone? Anything?
Nope.
No, I have not.
You have not.
I know last summer the Creel surveys out on Farm Island Lake in particular. I heard of it from like 5-6 guys that got checked out there. And one of the first questions that the Creel clerk would ask him is, "Did you use forward-facing sonar today?" And I never had another one ask me. I actually never personally ran into them out there.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, some of the guys I talked to, and and that went right into the information with the however many fish they kept, how many fish they caught, what they saw. So obviously they're taking a tally. They're looking into it.
You guys haven't gotten text messages?
No.
Man, I get those all the time.
Really?
Yeah, I don't know why. It'll just be like, "Hey, take the survey."
I got them from somewhere.
Well, somebody's got my number.
I usually
gotcha.
ignore junk mail, but you go ahead and keep filling it out.
Well,
Good luck with it.
You should too. If you're getting those, I think you're obligated to. I guess what I'm interested to learn is how much they're polling the public to get an idea, because really what the headache occurs when you have an opinion about something. It might get challenged somewhere, and I'm not pointing my finger at you, but like there are things we're standing up about.
Oh, absolutely.
And we've talked about this sometimes, but if you're not involved and people just keep taking away and adding restrictions, all of a sudden we're at a point where it's an unrecognizable sport from what it used to be. And I know you're thinking, I can still take my boat out and go wreck them. Yeah, I get it.
I could.
I could
and it'd feel great for all the haters.
well, but see, dude,
I'm not much for
you,
giving up my rights either.
Well, I know that about you, but if you're not standing up for something you believe in, what are you doing? Like you're, and I'm not saying you, Evan, or you, Ted, but if you, the public, John Q. Public, is not standing up against things that might provide a slippery slope to more regulation, what are we doing?
Right.
You're gonna have to find. We got a lot of good stuff right now.
You can't, right? You just can't always say nothing.
You
gotta
can't.
make a stand.
And it's not.
Right.
I'm not saying we're looking for a fight.
No, not.
But on the flip side, like there are little bitty things that are coming down the pike that might pave the way
And it
to
gets
bigger and worse
sneaky.
things. They do.
They sneak.
It's
stuff
called
in there.
pork.
Yeah, it's called pork.
So here's one. We've talked about this a little bit. Let's say all of a sudden we were no longer allowed to put bass in a live well during a bass tournament. Would that affect your desire to participate?
I don't think so.
No?
No, I would participate.
Don't you love the smell of them? Like you put them in that live well and you get to open that and smell them.
Oh yeah.
I love the smell of them.
What are they?
Bass got a smell.
I don't
See
like
how many
the,
crawfish are in my live well right
I don't like the
I
smell of
bet.
my
I need to get
live
the
well.
vacuum out.
I don't like the smell of my live well about 4 days later.
Yeah, when
But right away,
forget
it's
to
pretty-
rinse it.
Pro tip.
Oh yeah.
If you don't leave it out of the water for 4 days, it doesn't stink.
Yeah, some of us got jobs.
Keep it going.
Jobs and wives and kids.
Yeah.
So you would still fish a tournament if the law said you couldn't put one in your live well.
If you could not put one in your this is like assuming we created a plan to work within the new law. But yeah, I wouldn't enjoy it, or I wouldn't, I would like to keep it the way it is.
I agree. I mean, I love boxing them. Some of like those Champions Tour events where it's like a catch 'em all format where every fish over a pound, we do it through an app. But then,
Right.
you got a whole nother element that those guys work so hard with to get us marshals. you're not going to have a Monday night league tournament and find marshals. Nobody wants to sit in well, maybe they do, but who's going to want to sit there and watch me catch 5 bass?
Right.
And,
The new
help me
system.
accurately enter them into an app platform or something like that.
Okay.
I want to come into weigh-in and hold up 5 big bass,
show 'em off.
and no questions.
I got him.
That guy beat me, and
Yeah.
Well, and I know that with what you do at the Classic Bass Organization, those tournaments, that's a different format.
Yep.
And I fished a couple of those, a couple of the we call them the pro-ams here, with the high school kids. It should be like the dad kid, not pro-am, because we're not pros. But anyway, it's a fun experience. It is cool to catch them all, to count them all that all fit the criteria. But so let's just pretend for a minute the state of Minnesota makes putting fish in a live well for a tournament illegal. So, and that's period. Okay, that's across the board, right? So that is now illegal in this make-believe scenario.
It's locked in.
How do you police that? Are you going to have a marshal? He just made this point. Are you going to have a marshal in every boat, or are you going to have people go on the honor system? Do you know any crooked people, Ted?
When there's a little cash on the line, yeah.
So
It's unavoidable.
So one of my concerns with this, you already know where I'm going. That's why you're smiling at me. One of my concerns with this is that the policing it part of this only works at the pro to semi-pro level. The grassroots level, it would kill those events.
Absolutely.
There would be no more Thursday nighters.
Right.
Or they'd say, please do the honor system, and somebody would start winning that shouldn't be winning. And,
then I'm the honest folk are going to be sitting here with one arm tied behind their back.
Right. Well, and then,
Right.
but that's just it. It takes one person to really wreck it for everybody. I think that we would try that. I think we would go down that road, and eventually people would discover those loopholes, because that really does. And even if you mixed your anglers, let's say, just like the way Bassmaster, the Bass Nation stuff does things, you got your boaters and non-boaters, names go in a hat, you draw your non-boater, right? It's not impossible to think that 2 of those guys are crooks, that they might just accidentally show up together, and the one guy's like, God, I sure hate losing to that Evan Blakley all the time. He's like, you know what? Me too. You want to do something about it? Yeah. Screw that guy.
Let's get him.
Weights and fish, or whatever. Like it
Sure would suck if you still got second.
Right.
How would that hurt your ego?
You're confident.
But I guess if you're doing that already, you're a little bit of a scum.
Anyway, but what I'm saying is could you stick a weight in a fish on our Thursday nighter? Yeah. Really not very likely.
Is it worth it?
Is it worth it?
Is it
Probably
worth
not.
it? Right.
So what my concern is, and this should get in your blood. You should want to take a stand against this stuff, because it's going to ultimately affect the grassroots nature of what we love to do. And I think that it's not something that happens tomorrow. It's that frog in the kettle mentality. Is eventually, it's not a big deal. I'd still go fishing. Yeah, I get it. I hear you.
Would.
I hear you,
What?
dude. I hear you. But your future kids might not be allowed to fish a Thursday nighter because they don't exist anymore, right? So there's stuff that matters. Stuff that matters to all of us. And you need to be taking those surveys.
I don't get them.
I might start forwarding them to you. I might
Go ahead, forward
them
them
too,
Send them. I'm all in.
because it happens. And I think you can sign up for that stuff. So as we're down this road of forward-facing sonar, I again, listen, I want people to do what they want to do. I do think that there's at the top levels of tournament bass fishing. I guess there was a big thing to do about restrictor plates in NASCAR. Like, some people hate it, some people love it, whatever. But what it did ultimately is it leveled the playing field at some of those tracks. Mm-hmm. So I don't have a problem per se with the top levels of the competition in the sport of bass fishing having a limitation. It's the banning it that's occurred at those levels that I got a problem with.
Right.
I agree with
And
that.
I mean, if you're doing good, you love what's going on. If you're doing bad, you don't, and
Yeah.
And obviously it's just like everything else. If you're going to compete at the highest level, you have to adapt at the highest level. You can't, be fishing
Right.
back in 1999, we're in 2025 here, like fish like it is, and I get that's tough to do for some of the guys. They made a career off of, flipping shallow cover, visible cover. But, you look what's going on in the Elite Series right now, they're flipping shallow cover and not looking at screens much. But
Well,
then there's other guys offshore looking at screens, and look how much more water now is fishable. Whereas, you're gonna take all the forward-facing sonar guys off the offshore stuff, cram all in on the bank now, and now you got to compete with those guys too, and they're good. They're not just fishing that way because that's all they know. The guys with the equipment know what we're doing.
To me, it comes down to having a foundation.
Mm-hmm.
If you understand how and when and where to catch bass, forward-facing sonar should help you do better, but I don't think it's going to substitute or replace what you know about the fish. And I think there's a little bit of that, perhaps, a little bit of anglers that are, I don't want to say taking shortcuts, but they're getting to that level faster. But when you hear...
But I don't think it's always forward-facing
No.
sonar. Look at all everything that's published. I mean, you can learn something about bass fishing. You might not have known what a power shot rod was an hour ago, and then you start listening. I don't know. I'm going to go get a power shot rod from Ted, and like the information that we have nowadays. I could go on YouTube, how to catch a bass, and have a million hits and spend the rest of my life watching.
Why is that all there?
Because we love it.
It's because we love it. But the entire intention of In-Fisherman, of Bassmaster, of pick your poison, whatever you want to reference here, everybody's goal was to make it easier for somebody to catch more fish more often. The lure companies, new baits, new electronics, new boats, custom rods,
All of it.
all of it, and then
Gullible.
and then all of that stuff needs a media entity to deliver the message. The message is promoted by the pro type anglers, the recognized personalities. So it all creates a circle of, we wanted to do something for the next generation. And I don't mean to sit here and say we don't need more fishermen. That's not what I'm after. But the truth of the matter is, everybody that's complaining about the young guys that are beating them set up the system for them to make it through to beat them.
100%. We worked so hard for this, and here we are.
Here we are.
But who would have thought?
true.
You look back and oh crap, these kids are whooping me.
Well,
Like, I can see the ego. Like, I'm kind of new to it. I kind of got into the whole tournament game here. I've been fishing my whole life. But,
Yeah.
Jump into tournaments,
That is what
start
it is,
winning
though.
stuff.
That really is.
And you can see, there's some feelings that are probably hurt. Who the heck's this guy?
But what they do is they just look at the live well weight at the end of the day. They don't look at the work, the amount of time you put in on the water on a weekly basis, the amount of blood, sweat, and tears you put into your rods. It's easy to make a judgment, right, across all
'Cause
this.
you really don't know.
You don't know until you're in that
No.
boat. And there is no replacement for time on the water. That's why he wins all the time.
There is not.
And I have, you know what? I don't like losing, but I honestly, it hurts less to know I'm losing to better people. You know what I'm saying? It's not like,
Absolutely.
I mean, sometimes I just suck. That's the way it goes. But, for an example, my son was in here with Mark Kortz not too long ago. We did a podcast together, and one of the things we talked about was tournament availability nowadays. It's a lot more, it's available everywhere in places like Minnesota that there didn't used to be tournaments in every town and community. Now they're everywhere. Bemidji, Fergus Falls, the Twin Cities, like Fairmont has a bunch of lakes way down in the southwest corner, that have
There's
a weekly bass
I guess
league.
those are really good.
I hear they're good. So when I was a junior in high school, my son's a junior now, I fished my first bass tournament, and it was a paper tournament, where you had to measure your fish and write it down. Like,
Oh, jeez.
who was being honest there? Like,
Right.
I don't even know.
I remember a little of that, though.
Hope you were.
Yeah.
I'll
Well,
hold
yeah,
it against you.
Let's see, that was point what?
Yeah. Round up. Well, Tommy, 17, has fished over 100 derbies. So,
Jeez.
like,
Oh, nice.
but think about that for a minute. That's the average thing now for these young guys that are wanting to fish the elites. Their parents have a way to make it possible for them to fish. And they have a tremendous amount of experience coming out of high school, going to college and fishing, or entering the opens and dominating there. And then you have the older generation pissed at the young guys. It's like, they don't deserve this. Yeah, but you don't know that.
Right.
You know what I'm saying?
Absolutely.
The framework's there. Look what Easton did, He
Unbelievable.
absolutely awesome.
Do you know his
guy.
partner?
Nick Dumpke?
I think that's right. I've heard he's a stick too.
Yeah,
And
he'll be fishing the elites, I'm sure.
that's what somebody said. Wouldn't that be something?
Be kind of cool. Maybe Easton will be able to talk to somebody then instead of trying to hide all his baits, when we're getting ready for team trail and stuff, It was fun to go over him and Gordon. And, what you got on over here? And they'd get all quiet. It was pretty fun.
Is he still fishing that?
No.
Oh, it was before?
Yeah, before, back like when I fished it, him and Gordon were fishing it. I just always got a kick out of that. And, hope you guys are watching.
Yeah, I do too. I don't know. I know my mom listens to this. Hey, Mom, thanks for paying attention. No, it's interesting, and we're not in Fisherman. We like to talk multi-species, but current events are current events, and a lot of what's going on in the world today, it affects the multi-species universe too. And I would say, I think there's a lot more negativity in the professional bass world right now around electronics, and it's getting old. I think
it's a lot of negativity in general, and people need to just man up and quit whining.
Well, that's a possibility. Was that a pointed comment? Did you? I kind of feel like that was a directed comment.
Did it feel directed?
A little bit.
Maybe it was.
Well, as an example, in the walleye world, it has added a sense of relevance that they haven't had in a long time. You have John Hoyer's an example. Went to Lake Erie last year, and in big 4 and 5 foot waves, you'd use forward-facing sonar to cast a big walleye.
That's incredible.
Which had never really been done. It's always a trolling bite out there, right?
Mm-hmm.
So that's relevance. That's like new stuff. That's exciting, and it's been a good thing. But you gotta have your.
I tell you what, for around here, like I could bass fish just fine. I could get rid of my forward-facing sonar, and the smallie game, yeah, it's amazing. But for like the largemouth, you could take it off my boat, and I don't think you'd really see any change in any of the weights. But my gosh, those walleyes, they're kind of sitting ducks.
They are.
They're just
walleyes and crappies.
Yeah, and crappies. Whoa. Yeah, we don't want to talk about that. But
they are,
man, those poor walleyes, they just stick out like a sore thumb, and
they do.
It's pretty fun. They get out on them clean spots.
Even in the weeds.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
It's like, oh, yeah.
I feel like they create a better return than any fish. I think it's their armor-like skin. They're a harder scaled fish than a smallie or a bass. When I see them, they're shinier. On the.
It's always, you can always see that tail.
And the fin.
You can always see the movement going on. Yeah. It's like, oh, that's not a bass. But I'm gonna cast at it anyways because they're fun to catch. I like a little bycatch. Like drum. I kind of like drum. I'm thinking somebody needs to have a drum tournament.
We talked about
Pool 4.
Really? Have
Mississippi
you ever fished Winnebago?
No. When they do have a drum tournament, don't they?
Do they?
Oh, I bet they do.
I think
Sign
they do.
me up.
Because when I fished BFLs, down on the river, we always went to Bago for an event.
Yeah, we're talking freshwater drum here, guys.
I'm gonna check this.
Not those beloved redfish down south, because those are cool too.
Yeah.
But can you imagine, like, the ultimate smallmouth bass? Well, it's not a bass, but the ultimate smallmouth.
Right.
Like, no live bait. Like, go drum tournament. Because the walleye guys all catch them, us bass guys all catch them. We could just head to head on them, see who can win.
I don't see anything on here.
The Lake Pepin first annual Drum Master Classic.
You might be onto something.
Me and John were just talking about this the other day. Saw a picture. I don't know where it was, but some guys were holding up like a 8-pound drum with their bass. They had like 3 or 4 nice bass. And then they had like an 8-pound drum and won something. I don't know where that was. Just something on Facebook. But
well, they're sporty. I mean,
oh yeah,
you get a big one. It's
they dog you.
Absolutely.
I've caught some that are like 12, 15 pounds.
I mean, they'll eat a crankbait. They'll eat a jig. They're not.
Absolutely.
They're not like a carp, right? That's like, I'm not eating anything but a wad of peanut butter and corn.
Yeah, they're like, you could scope those things on a minnow and like anything. A jerk bait. Oh man.
Have you ever eaten them?
No.
Yeah, unfortunately, I've
Have
tried.
you?
Do you not like it?
Nah, I'm good.
Doug,
you good?
Doug says Doug will fillet and eat anything, and he's pretty straight shooter about what he likes. But I mean, it is a redfish relative.
He might be a better chef than me. I tell you what, you catch that same fish down south, down in Florida or something,
Black drum,
and it's like, oh, black drum, great, they taste amazing, and you'd fillet that thing up, and it would taste awesome. However,
something about saltwater fish.
They're different.
They are.
I don't know if I like them better.
I like saltwater fish better.
Pretty good. They're a little more meaty.
The fresh walleye is hard to beat. Fresh perch is hard to beat.
Yeah, well, yeah.
But especially through the ice. But I don't know. I think most of I don't eat a lot of fish, mainly because I suck at cleaning them. I've trained my son to
what you
clean
got
fish
Tommy for.
That's
Yeah,
right.
you got somebody for
We
that.
got one more year of that though, because when he leaves, my wife is going to have an expectation that I got to start doing it.
Oh, jeez.
But so the drum thing is interesting because I've been on the Great Lakes, and so my biggest smallmouth. I realize this will discount this catch, but I'm just going to say it. My biggest smallmouth came trolling a minnow rig on Bay de Noc. Okay, it was like a 614. It's a big one.
It's a big one.
Yeah, but it was trolling for walleye.
Yeah, but
Whatever.
you still caught it.
Whatever. But the drum, when those drum would eat, they would peel line like you couldn't stop them.
Yeah, they're
And
incredible.
They're mean.
You'd have to like the guy I was with, Ross. He's like, all right, here's how this is gonna work. Like when one of those things goes off, like it's snagged, we have to crank in the other rods as far as
Oh, jeez.
where they don't get tangled, so that we can slow the boat because you literally cannot stop and turn a 12-pound drum on walleye trolling gear. Like they
Right.
just keep going.
They're kind of cool. They get a terrible rap, but like
Have you
that
seen them?
doesn't suck.
Have you seen them in the Great Lakes? They have this really bronze dark. They get real dark.
Oh, they do.
Yeah, like the ones in the river, they're kind of white and purplish.
White.
And,
Well, they're ugly.
Gray.
I don't
They
think they
are
look
ugly.
that
That's
good.
how they are on Bago.
But you get out in the Great Lakes, they look a lot better.
Mm.
Now, I'm not saying that's a stop on the national trail yet. Maybe it needs to be.
I'm thinking this has got some footing.
Well,
I
all
think
right.
people need to reach out here and show their support.
So we've argued about this.
Let's do it.
Get
You
her
cannot
going.
deny. Yeah, this is fun. Everything's fun. I'm Evan. Everything's
It
fun.
is fun.
But if you're fishing for a
Work is
bass,
not fun.
catching a 6-pound a dogfish is fun in the moment, but you're like, I thought I had a real big one and it was a dogfish. There's a little bit of like,
How is that not amazing?
Now work with me here.
I love it.
No, work with me here.
I absolutely love it.
if you're in a bass,
big dogfish, those are so cool.
okay, all right, fine.
I was.
They're cool. I hate boating them.
We were.
Well,
They are kind of a pain. Those things are mean. I was
They are mean.
driving
They're
around
really
on a
mean on the
grass
river,
flat,
too.
fishing smallies a couple weeks ago, and I see this just big mark, like it's in like 3 feet of water, a little bit of grass, and there's like this big mark, like sitting straight up in the water column, and I cast a hair jig at it. Nothing on Ted's.
he's like,
Ted's
that's
custom,
not enough
Ted's
meat.
custom hair jig rod there too. Whip it at it, thing doesn't even react. I'm like, what the heck? I hit the darn thing on the head. Throw it on it, land it right on him, and the thing just bumps up like 6 inches and just stops.
Solid.
And it's like, ooh, I wonder what this thing is. Oh, it's like a 10-pound dogfish. It's like, oh, awesome. And, get the thing right to the side of the boat. And then even more perfect, it just pops out. And it's like, great. Didn't have to break my net. Didn't have to bend my hair jig out. Like those hard mouths, you can't hardly stick them
they
with
got
a
a hard
darn
mouth,
jig.
don't they?
Well, then it was so funny because about an hour later, I'm cruising. I see that like a same mark, like 2 miles away, just standing straight up like that. And I'm like, oh, yeah. Made that cast, dropped right on him, hooked him again. Oh, but I threw a little heavier rod at him that time,
This is during a bass tournament?
No, this was fun fishing.
But okay.
Okay.
So this is where
Don't
I'm going.
think I wouldn't have made that cast in a bass tournament, though.
You would have? If you knew
I
it was a
stopped bass
dogfish?
fishing last night because I wanted to catch a walleye that I knew was a walleye.
That's fair.
I think we're a little different.
That's fair. Well, the point is, if you have a goal to catch species A, sometimes like species M and N and Z and whatever, like it's like, crap. I don't like bringing pike into the boat in the summer.
They're a little bit of a problem.
I like to unhook
They
them
get
at the side of the boat.
I lose a lot of baits to them. Me and them kind of. That's the one species I kind of butt heads with. I kind of love my trash fish, but pike are.
Here's where I'm going, Evan.
When you're on the 6th chatterbait of the day.
yeah, that gets
But he
painful.
doesn't throw a chatterbait. He throws a jackhammer because he's elite. And the pike don't bite that for some reason.
I can tell you they don't. They do very well.
So in Minnesota, we might be getting a year-round bass season. We're going to go that way here in a minute.
Did
I
you
want
see
to
some of that
I
stuff
shared
coming
that
out
this
today?
morning.
Well,
I
hold
got
on.
that sent.
Whoa,
Okay,
whoa. We're not done
Dad.
with the rough fish.
Keep
yet.
it down.
Yeah.
Rough fish.
So before bass season, I've heard that if there's been some level of dogfish tournament, I think there was something here around Gull Lake that guys used to do. And I mean, you talk about doing a drum tournament, maybe a dogfish tournament has some wheels, preseason.
Hey,
I think it would be pretty fun.
the bow fisherman guys bring them in, which is kind of sad, but
Not that
I mean,
sad.
there's a lot of them.
There is a lot of them.
You'd be amazed. You shine a light at night, how many of them are hanging out.
I don't know that the states that don't have seasons, I don't feel like this would play. But in a state like ours that has designated seasons, I think there's a little something there. And it's just get the boat out of mothballs, you're getting ready to go. And there's no doubt catching a dogfish is fun. And maybe it's a 2-fish limit, right? Of course, those stupid things would probably break your live well walls with their hard heads.
There's a good chance.
Wham, right in the side.
Or break your hand trying to get them out of the live
Could you
well.
imagine?
Oh yeah, they're rough.
But think about that for a minute. An actual rough fish tournament, I think it'd have to be.
Just think, like, you could get to a certain place, like one drum, one gar, one sheep's head. Like, how cool would that be? Like the multi-species, like trifecta of trash fish.
Well, I'll tell you
Huh?
what it would do. It would absolutely open your eyes to weird techniques that work across the board. And I've always believed the multi-species anglers are the best anglers.
Oh yeah,
Guys that can
Well-rounded.
go well-rounded.
Yep.
I agree.
All right, so bass season. What do you think?
I love it. Why not? I think it's year round, right? That's the proposal, or that's
Yeah, and they wouldn't. What'd they say? No tournaments before May.
I thought it was no keeping fish before May, but I didn't.
The
I just
opener-
saw it.
glanced at it and
I thought I
Yeah.
saw no tournaments.
no tournaments.
Look it up. Let's look it up. Let's get official
There we go.
ruling. I'm going to turn my trail cameras off because I've gotten.
Turkeys there.
Oh, they're there.
Yeah.
They're coming into roost for the night, so I'm getting
bombed.
getting literally all.
I saw that this past Minnesota unlimited bass season.
There we go.
AI overview says, as of April 1, 2025, there is no unlimited bass season. However, there's an ongoing discussion about potential changes to allow for year-round bass fishing to encourage more participation in the sport and help resort season.
Those AI overviews are spotty at best.
Yeah, they are.
Right.
You're right about that.
We're gonna go to.
I wonder what I read it on social media. It was kind of like a
Yeah, somebody sent me something
Me
this
too.
morning.
I'm going here.
All right, so
I know Jimmy Bell worked hard on this, and here it is. I just pulled up his post on Facebook. Passed in Minnesota. The Minnesota State Legislature approved a bill extending the bass fishing season to year-round. This bill, which aims to enhance recreational fishing opportunities and support the fishing industry, now heads to the governor for signature. The change allows anglers to fish for largemouth and smallmouth bass at any time of the year, removing the previous seasonal restrictions. The bill also removes bass from the list of species with a limited season and adds them to the list with a continuous open season. This change is expected to have minimal impact on the bass populations, according to the DNR, as the bass populations are doing well, as we discussed. The bill even includes provisions regarding bass tournaments, stating that they would not be allowed before the May walleye opener. Interesting.
Gotcha.
I wonder if that would translate into border waters.
On the river.
Oh, I
right,
would
like
I
St.
would.
Jude's and stuff.
I don't think so.
I would hope not.
No, I think the river will be a.
It'll stay.
That's
Yeah.
how I stayed, but I mean, it is Minnesota waters.
Yeah, it
I
is
don't know. We'll see.
What do you think?
I think that there's no better time to have that tournament.
No.
St. Jude on the weekend before opener, first
Yeah.
weekend in May.
Right in the middle of turkey season. No, so I like to take a step back and talk about this before I just as a bass angler, I love the idea. I think it'd be fun to go
amazing.
target bass
Correct. Yeah.
Absolutely.
different times of year because really it doesn't add that much to it. I mean, really, we're talking a month and a half at most, like on a cold year.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Right. Depending on ice.
And I mean, we're only talking
area.
like big lakes. You're not probably going to get out on Mille Lacs and be able to do much, much more than a month at best before a opener, or since our ice out is so late some years.
Yeah, I guess it's really just adding a month to the spring, right? Because you get it all the way through ice up without question.
Right. And there won't be that wall of pressure, opener, 100 boats on a reef, fishing them out like on Mille Lacs.
If you're really getting down to brass tacks, I don't see it adding a lot of pressure to the fishery. And I think that
and it's all catch and release.
Yep.
And there's a lot of shallow fish that time of year. Like it's not like we're going to be going out and scoping them in 40 feet of water around here. We're going to be catching them right next to the crappies. We're catching in a foot of water. We're just going to be throwing something way more fun than a crappie.
Well, if they're shallow, you can kind of just put some waders on and go out and do that. But hey,
them right off the docks, right off the boat access.
Speaking of waders,
I hear
LL
Bean
Bean,
sells
they got some great waders. So let me tell you a little bit about that. We all know the LL Bean name stands for quality and durability. So when they say the Rapid River Pro waders are the most advanced waders ever, you should take note, Evan Blakley.
I might.
You might? Okay. If you can't run your bass boat, you can always put a set of waders off.
I've got nothing against it.
Well, hey, and ain't nobody got time for a wet ass. Let's be honest.
Right.
Waders,
some of them boat landings that you got to back the truck in the water a little ways, Just think how nice those would be.
That would be handy. It would probably speed up a lot of that activity going on at the boat ramps during those warmer holiday seasons. But these particular waders, the ones we're talking about, are the Rapid River Pros. They feature a I'm doing a terrible job on this read. Nice job. My job is reading. I can't do it. It's the 4-layer lower leg fabric that's pairs stretch for ease of range and motion, and also durability, where you can hike up the river, hike down to the lake, whatever it is you're going to do, and sneak up on your favorite shallow water bass or trout, I guess, if that's your thing. So
I like trout.
Yeah, their Super Seam technology keeps you in the water without the water getting in, and that's pretty important. And you can learn a little bit more at llbean.com. So back to a bass season.
I think it's great.
You're 100% for it, Ted?
100%.
For it, 100%.
I think I can get behind it.
Like, I was driving around not fishing
Love
for them this spring. Like, man,
right.
I wish I could fish for these things. You're throwing a little crappie jig and you're catching bass, totally incidental, but you just got to weed through them to catch crappie sometimes. And can you imagine throw a swim jig instead of this little
fun
2-inch crappie jig?
Okay.
And it's catch and
Well,
release. It'll be all right.
They're pretty susceptible, aren't they?
Oh, yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
All right, so why are we not fishing for smallmouth then during tournaments in early June? Should we start a season that makes smallmouth off limits for the month of June?
Smallmouth in early April are a lot different than smallmouth in early June. Smallmouth in early April during our protected season have always been pre-spawn, not at all. Oh, now they're on beds. Early June, they're dumb. They're on beds. Everyone knows they're going to defend that bed. That's what smallmouth do.
Do you add a closed season? I think we're getting awfully close to a closed season, like in June. Like shut them down.
It's definitely getting
Shut 'em
self-policed by the tournament organizations. Not
Yeah, they are kicking them off the list for a lot.
right. A lot of them are, and
Even
it's,
grassroots.
some guys seem to be liking that. I don't see it affecting them. Honestly, if anything, moving them around the lakes around here, we used to not really catch them much. Now all of a sudden, you go to Gull Lake. 5 years ago, like guys were catching them, and Cizik and Severson won a lot of stuff catching them. It seemed, but largemouth. And now you drive around that whole darn lake, it's full of them. Like
there are a lot of them there.
You can't get away from them. I'm catching them up in Roy and stuff, and Upper Gull, and like, what are you doing up here? There's nothing good for you.
Well,
it's cool.
With the tournament organizations making them, like most of them have them off limits from the start of the season, at least until the middle of June. I don't know if we're going to have any
some
more
of the local
restricted.
stuff went like July and stuff, but yeah.
Really?
June,
To July?
Yeah. I know that's like what Rod Benders did.
Yeah.
Oh,
Okay.
they did July.
Yeah.
Wow.
Well, but see, then you can't put them in a live well after September 15th.
Oh,
Oh,
that's
something mid-September, yeah. Which is a bummer because boy, they're fun to catch. Then that'd be a fun
But
tournament.
why? what makes them? Why do we need to protect them more end of September? I guess I just want to know what the biological reason for
I
this is.
don't know. But they school up heavy, and they tend to move deep end of the year like that. There's a lot of them stacked in some of them schools. I mean, you can pull up and catch them every cast.
Are they like you're talking deep, like barrel trauma deep?
That would definitely play
Get into
more.
the winter hunt.
Yep.
Yeah.
Some of them, September later is more of a problem. You get into like October, and I mean, there's spots that you can catch them in 40 feet of water, Is that good for them? Probably not, because, Minnesota also has a problem with us fizzing fish, which I'm not really understanding, but whatever.
Are you not allowed to fizz fish here?
Not allowed to fizz them.
Wow.
I guess I didn't know that.
Yeah.
You know what? I didn't either.
Yeah.
You ever fizzed a fish?
Cannot fizz a fish.
You ever done that, Ted?
I have a few times.
Yeah,
No
I've done it a few
expert
times
by no
too.
means, yeah, but
It's pretty easy.
Yeah.
And I don't know that there's no evidence that it hurts the fish long term at all, but you are stabbing a fish with a needle that otherwise you wouldn't be
What's
getting
the-
Look that
stabbed.
regulation
the-
up. Make sure I'm not mistaken, but
wonder what the theory
to
is.
my knowledge, you can't fizz a fish in Minnesota.
I'll
And
look
they're
it up.
probably yes, look it up. I don't want to be spewing false information here, but
Oh,
you always got to think that.
I've heard that though. I think
Right.
you're right.
In a tournament, you sticking them with needles,
No,
keeping them
you-
alive.
According
These fish are great.
According to the AI overview.
Oh, great.
Oh,
Again, with a grain of salt,
boy.
it says the term fizz is not a recognized method of fishing in Minnesota. Oh,
Okay. Yeah.
it says no, you cannot fizz a fish in Minnesota.
you cannot.
Chumming is prohibited. That's also under here. I don't know why.
Oh no. Some of those poor guys with those rough nights. I'm DQing you.
Can you fizz a walleye? Yeah. I don't know. That's one we could dig into. And honestly,
Dig into
like,
that.
let's be real honest. If it's not something you're not comfortable with, don't do it.
Right.
And if you're fishing in a situation where you might be catching them too deep, you might want to reconsider. So there's a
You could save 90% of them with fin clips, it seems, for what we do around
Seth
here.
Fighter says fin clips over fizzing.
Fin clips are a great tool.
Oh, over fizzing.
Mhm.
Oh,
That's
wow.
interesting.
That is.
So he'll put two on the what do you call it? The dorsal fins?
Yep.
No, that's the back fin. What are the two front ones? Anyway,
Where's
not
the
a biologist.
biologist again?
yeah, I'm not. I should know.
We're
But
lacking
boy,
biology.
2 or 3 to hold that fish upright, it'll recalibrate and be fine.
Oh, that's really cool.
Well, it keeps them from, like when they're when they're sideways, they're just struggling the whole time. They're trying to right themselves, I've seen it. Like I've
I've seen
brought
that
fish
for
back
sure.
from like the dead. Like, oh no, didn't notice that one wasn't doing good. And then you clip them and like they just sit in the bottom live well and they just chill. And
They'll come back.
they love it. Like it's the greatest thing. It's probably, if you catch a big one, I should do it all the time. I usually keep 6 weights in the back of the boat. Just
Well, one of
Ready
the
to
things
go.
like I don't. I had this argument with somebody a couple weeks ago about his opinion is that you can't tell me that having a tournament with spawning fish is good for the fishery. And I said, okay, now I've seen some studies. I used to work at Bassmaster. I've read some stuff, and the consensus they came to is that a tournament during the spawn does not impact the fishery. I'll say that again. A tournament during the spawn, largemouth or smallmouth bass, does not impact the fishery. It may and likely does indeed affect that fish's bed, right? Especially if you got weigh-in that's 20 miles away. You know that fish isn't going to make it back overnight. So I think that there's like we in the north, Minnesota especially, there seems to be a weird dedication to the safety and protection of smallmouth early in the season and late in the season. And I guess if we have a good thing, protect it. Right. But are we going overboard on some of
Proactive.
this?
it makes a lot of sense on like Gull Lake Smallies 5 years ago when there was,
Just starting out.
a couple thousand of them maybe. Now they're everywhere. Like you can drive any corner of that lake right now and go find 50 beds, before sun goes down here tonight. Like there's a ton of them.
But are we going too far down the road of feelings? I don't know that I'm right or wrong
Feelings
here.
are a big thing.
They seem to be
They
lately.
seem to be a big thing.
I'm just
and
not
people
sure.
get their feelings hurt when they lose.
Well, like I said, it's real easy. It's real easy to want to protect a good thing, and there's zero doubt. I have a good friend that works in the industry that's adamant that it should be illegal to fish for smallmouth on beds. And I don't think that he's wrong because he's right. They will protect their bed to their death.
Right.
Right.
But
And
do you always know it's on a bed? I catch a lot of fish that are probably on beds that I have no idea.
I think a
there's
vast
bed there.
majority of them is pretty obvious.
Because I think a lot of them are spawning a lot deeper than we care.
No, I would. So
There's
this
a
is
lot
what
of
I'd
that,
say.
yeah.
What
I
we
would say
see,
yes.
the beds we can see are less than 5% of the population of what's spawning.
Perspective mode helps.
Mm-hmm.
I've been finding some really deep beds.
Yeah.
Like
20,
aiming
22
that thing.
feet?
30.
Mm-hmm. I believe it.
30.
I've seen some of those studies. Largemouth will also bed deep or spawn deep sometimes.
Yeah. Yeah. I don't know much about the largemouth. You know, that's such a weird thing here in Minnesota. Those things are.
It's like they spawn in a 3-day period. It's like the whole lot of them. They're up and they're down.
It's so weird.
And
It's
then
like,
they need a month to
are
recover.
they post spawn? Like I swear I
Yeah.
catch some,
Yeah,
you know,
right.
spawners almost into July, but like it's so weird. Like trying to catch a largemouth off a bed around here is just odd.
All right, so Minnesota, known for its walleye fishing, let's say we make walleyes unlimited as far as the season goes. What's the impact here if we did that? Like if we're gonna do bass, why not do walleyes?
That's the scary road that you're on now because I'm out here throwing a swim bait for bass. It happened to be in a river channel that's loaded with pre-spawn walleyes.
But does it hurt the fishery?
I don't see how it would.
I don't.
The only thing you could attempt to play there would be like some sort of live bait restriction, which I don't, once again, here we're going down regulations. I don't like regulations. You know what? If I got a bucket of crappie minnows, I wanted to go crappie fishing. I don't use them much, but, and then, let's throw a chatterbait for these bass. Well, now I got bait in there. So it's a bad area. But how many walleyes do you kill cast in a swim bait or cast in a jig and plastic, for say? Or I don't feel like
You run into them relatively often.
You catch a lot of them, but I don't think you kill a lot.
Here
of them.
you do.
You don't hook a lot. The hooking mortality I feel like is pretty low. They're all pinned right in the top of the mouth.
I agree with that.
Yeah, they're not swallowing that.
Long as you're not messing with them out of the water for minutes, but
Ted, do you
cold water.
see a shift in is there a buying period for you, like during a certain time of the year where it's higher than the rest of the year?
Absolutely, yeah. There's probably 2 runs within what I do. We can call it the pre-opening fishing rush, and then the early, as I do a lot of ice too, the early rush for ice, and
His
and
ice
then
rods are
it
pretty
slowly tapers off through both of those seasons.
So the busiest time of year would be pre-opener, maybe?
Absolutely.
Okay, and without pause.
Yeah. Yep.
Okay, so one of the
tapers a little bit.
is that just through custom orders and retail orders and things like that? It's all combined.
Yeah. Mostly, all the custom stuff.
It'd be interesting to see, and I know I don't think there's going to be a whole lot of difference in a year-round bass season impact and pressure-wise compared to what we have now. But if the walleyes were in that same boat,
right.
I wonder how that would have, because
it would for sure.
it would change when people want stuff.
As soon as guys, they prep and they can get out, and it would be like we mentioned a little bit as far as fishing, same as sales, a little more gradual, a little more long-term over the year.
Maybe your average would be a little higher, but you wouldn't have the
your
big time
2
peaks.
right, would flatten and stretch with that. Yeah, I believe that.
So
Probably help you out a little bit.
It would level it out.
You might get to go crappie fishing this spring, huh?
But I think the whole point to the regular walleye season is economic impact right now. I think there's zero biological purpose to the fishing opener in Minnesota.
Oh yeah, it's so fun. This was the first year in a long time I just blew the walleyes off. Didn't even cast it one. Didn't even try. I just went bass fishing the whole weekend. It was phenomenal.
Cool.
Yeah, but I guess what I'm saying is, there are some states that have certain seasons. For example, really the only season in Iowa is going to be the Iowa Great Lakes musky and walleye season opener. It's earlier than ours, but there's not a lot of other states that have seasons in place for fishing where everybody rushes to, Fleet Farm or the local bait and tackle shops to upgrade their gear for opener. Like everybody talks about opener here. It's a holiday.
Oh, it comes alive.
Mm-hmm.
That's like Friday night around here. You try to go past like S&W and that place, you can't hardly cram another truck in the parking lot.
I don't know this for certain. I'm just going to estimate that if you took the opener date off of the calendar and just said everything's open when the ice is off, I think that day or that weekend would be vastly different.
100%.
People would,
I agree. Oh yeah.
So, and it's important for these communities. I don't know that it would be a good thing for the state
it's like
fishing.
holidays.
It is.
Yeah, it is, really.
It makes you make a trip. Look at us.
It does.
You sit here and you can plan, like we can plan let's go to Lake Vermilion musky fishing. Okay, well, nobody ever sets a date. You just literally,
True.
and I've been terrible for it for years. And then this last winter, I'm like, we've been talking about a Canada Lake Trout trip forever. Doing it. March 15th.
Right.
Canada Lake Trout trip. Well, day 1, 60 degrees. Day 2, like 14 inches of snow and blowing 40
Was that
miles
this year
an
for
hour.
you?
Yeah, it was amazing. It was so cool. Like, what do you do? But
Right.
it's still like, if you don't just set a date, which that does it for you, it puts it on the calendar.
It's a automatic commitment
you're committed.
and an excitement.
We're
and
scheduled
a
for a walleye
holiday,
opener. Who
Minnesota
cares what the
holiday.
weather's like? Oh, remember that, 5 years ago when it was snowing and we caught all them walleyes?
It makes for
Awesome.
some good stories.
It does.
We
Really
went and did
good,
a
yep.
couple years ago. Me and a group of buddies and my son went to Lake of the Woods to stay at Jay Seaman's cabin to do a late fall trolling trip, and it was October into November, like that last couple days. It was epic.
Yeah.
Cold. You're wearing your ice gear. We had a heater in the boat.
What are we doing here?
Yeah, what are we doing here? But like at the end of the day, it was everybody was psyched. Like we had an adventure. We caught a fish, caught 2 fish, or whatever the deal was. I think that my direction here in this conversation is I love talking tournaments. I love talking regulations. I love controversy. I love a good-hearted discussion. But one of the things I feel like that we've missed, I feel like In-Fisherman, my goal here in coming years is to kind of bring this back into the fold of what's on print, what's in the videos, on TV shows. We don't do the videos anymore, but what I'm saying is the adventure aspect of fishing that I feel like has been overshadowed by the tournament world. And I remember there was the adventure series that In-Fisherman
can be an adventure. Let me tell you.
They can, but I'm not talking like I want no entry fee involved in this discussion. This is straight you and your buddies going
Straight
to have
adventure.
100%.
something you've always wanted to do. So
Let's go.
so give me your top 2, Ted. If you anything that like just forget about money for a minute. If you had an opportunity to go on your top 2 dream fishing trips, give me those in no particular order unless you have them ordered.
Top 2, I would say I'd have to do the peacock bass.
Dude, yes.
Amazon
River.
Amazon River peacock
Yes.
bass.
Do you know how they do that? They have a
Yeah.
mothership. So
Yes.
they have this great big houseboat that's like
When
a
we
yacht.
going?
Dude, let's honestly.
How
It's,
cool.
I've never
How
been.
cool.
I have been invited and not able to make the trip go.
Really?
But it seriously, they have this mothership with a crew.
Blakely.
Billy Chapman, look up Billy Chapman. He does a trip, and
Yeah.
so they haul that you fish different sections of the river. So the mothership just works its way upstream
Oh, no
the whole day, and they're towing bass boats.
Oh.
And so you just get in a boat with your guide and you just run to these tributaries and upriver. And then at the end of the day, you meet at a select spot and they got cold margaritas. They got hot steaks on the grill. Like you're treated like royalty and your fingers and hands are destroyed. Now, I've not been. I'm just regurgitating how the story works. But
Yeah.
Wow.
It was when we were staying for champs up on Vermilion. Dave, whose place we were staying at, he had a 20-pounder on the wall from down there, and it's like, so brought
it's
up
a 20-pound bass.
dude, he says it's insane. Like, yeah, and like his guide would jump in the water when their fish would get hung up in trees. Like, this is the fucking Amazon.
In the
River.
Amazon.
You're gonna
Yeah.
die in there.
I
Like,
don't know what's
I don't
in
know.
there.
How cool would that be?
Yeah.
Oh, unbelievable.
So we going?
Unbelievable.
I mean, I'm up for the discussion. Number
Wow.
2. So that was number 1. Number 2.
We can just leave it there. We could talk number 2 and we get number 1 knocked
Yeah,
out.
number 2, I don't know what hold a candle to that at all, but I've really never done like a huge trophy largemouth trip. Like
Also in
the
Mexico.
depths of Mexico,
Jeez.
nonstop.
I hear there's some pretty cool guides
6
down
to
there.
12s. Let's.
Have I told you some of these stories?
Yeah,
Yeah.
a couple of them.
Have you?
I've been to.
So I haven't done that.
I've been to a couple, and there's some
Cool.
cool stories. There's definitely an element of looking over your shoulder, and you don't go out after dark. We'll just say that.
I believe
So
it.
number one's got to be peacock bass after your
Why
reaction.
wouldn't it be?
Okay, all right. So number
Oh,
two.
man.
Number two.
Boy.
You get peacock bass done. You got your 20-pounder with that big knob on their head.
Big knob.
Head.
Bigger
Yeah.
the better.
Yeah. You got that done. Where are you going next?
There's a lot of good stuff. too.
There's some
Wow.
really cool saltwater stuff. Yeah,
that
no,
was
there's a
my
lot
other
of-
thought. The saltwater.
But boy, is that like, it's endless. And I've done, dabbled in some of it.
What are
Trying
those
to-
great big fish?
What would get me? Like, what's that?
What are those great big fish? Central America with the great big tall fins that are topwater fanatics. What are the? I'm forgetting the name of it.
Oh,
I feel like it was peacock something, but I'm thinking peacock bass, but I don't.
is it that really weird like cat? That's super
No.
big? That's not that one.
Costa Rica.
Hmm.
Big fin on top. What are you talking about?
You'll know what I'm talking about when I.
Yeah, maybe he's better drawn
They
up
go
on
up-
paper than
Rooster fish.
Oh yeah,
Rooster
yes.
fish.
Now they're pretty cool looking. But boy, something about that peacock bass.
Yeah, rooster fish.
adventure is
So you like
real.
the adventure tied to that?
Oh, absolutely.
The getting in there, the mothership idea, the
Yeah.
whole. The
He
whole
says
thing?
they do your laundry on the ship
Yeah.
and everything. Like,
Cool.
dude, come on.
Dude, it's pretty. So
Like, I'm actually down. You want to go?
so the Billy Chapman experience. Billy owns the Anglers Inn at Picachos and El Salto,
Oh, okay.
and he's got a program for the peacock bass thing too. And like it is, I'm talking like I've been there. I haven't, but I know that the quality of service that Billy Chapman is known for providing. It is a fantastic experience in Mexico, and the friends I have that have done the peacock bass thing say it's world class. So it's definitely on my list. But so
All right, number 2. I'm ready.
He's ready.
What is it?
Dun, dun.
We're going down south. Probably like a Lake Fork type situation, maybe like Falcon or something like that.
I like it.
Largemouth.
Yeah.
Just got to do it. And we're only high vis, yellow braid,
It's yellow braid.
heavy stick.
Dude, most of the
That's
guys, did you see today? Like a lot of those dudes are using 20 to 25 pound fluorocarbon, flipping into those bushes on 10.
Yeah, but that's
dude.
situational.
I need you to get out of your bubble. I do.
Oh, my bubble works.
Yeah, it does here. So I'll put.
Yeah, there we go. That's what I want to prove. I
I'll
want
put-
to rack a 10-pounder out of a bush on straight braid.
There you go.
And my first phone call afterwards.
That's fine.
Right here.
Guy
Guys,
right,
your
stick
mouth-
guy right there.
Your mouth is still running.
Guess what I caught on down?
Blakley,
Toxic
kid.
Elite.
I just
7-Eleven.
I'll tell you what I'm
extra heavy.
looking forward to.
Straight
I'm looking
braid.
forward to the day when he's got a family, he's getting older, body parts aren't functioning as well as they used to, and then he's like, you know what? I don't want to admit this. This hurts me deeply, but you were right about everything. And that day's gonna come.
I don't think so.
I don't know if you're gonna be able to
I
admit
think I'm
it.
wired a little different.
You didn't
We'll
know
see.
me at your age.
We'll see.
You're how old again?
32,
32.
32.
I think. My wife could correct me on
I'm
that.
44.
Way back then.
Dare I ask you?
54.
54.
Yep.
You could be his dad.
Whoa.
Go beat him up. He deserves it.
Maybe he'd cut me a better deal on some rods.
All right, so I'm going to throw one at you. I'll keep peacock bass in my top 2 because I do think that's the adventure. But I want to go up to these those massive lakes in the Yukon and Northwest Territories, like Great Bear, Great Slave Lake, and do some of that lake trout fishing. That's way up there.
Yeah.
What's
How
what
about
the-
some of them Western Reservoir smallmouth that are
like Idaho?
popping up like Idaho?
Yeah, that would be an adventure.
Ooh. I hear
That
it's
would be
like
cool.
Coeur d'Alene,
miles
is
and
long.
miles of just rutted out gravel roads.
So do you know why those fish in Idaho are getting so big?
kokanee salmon?
That's it.
Nice.
That was
Think
a-
how they'd eat a swim bait.
well.
Ooh. Love
Those
Big old
I don't know how
glide.
big they get, but I know that they're good snacker size for bass for a long time.
Right. It seems like they catch a lot of like 12, 13, 14 inches. Like it seems like when you see these kokanee catch and eat videos or whatever, you know.
That's not too big of a fish for a smallmouth or a big one to eat.
Not at all.
No.
But they're high protein, abundant. I might be wrong. I would think that would make them harder to fish for, or at the very least, they're really only going to use a swim bait, I would think, in those cases, because that's their forage bait.
Well, bass are so opportunistic. You can't tell me that a salmon eating bass is going to be sitting there just chilling and then, Ned rig. Yeah, I'm going to eat that. You know, when I'm eating cheeseburgers, you know, and a French fry comes across my plate, I'm eating that, you know?
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, definitely
Bass
power
are
shot.
probably smarter than I am, but how often, do you think a bass on North Long Lake sees a 6-inch worm floating around doing this number in front of him? He's been eating crawfish all his life.
And you don't think they turn their nose up at the opportunity to eat other different stuff than what the forage base indicates?
Not a bit. They're going to eat it.
I don't know.
If it's presented properly.
Yeah. I've heard that it's a different style of fishing in those fisheries, California especially, and they don't just throw big baits for big fish. They throw big baits because largely that's the forage. You know, that's what those fish are eating. And I would think that the way they stock those lakes might affect the feeding patterns of those fish. You know, do they get extra food right when those fish get off the dump truck into the boat ramp? You know, I don't know.
Just sitting there.
Yeah, I would think if you could time that,
open,
could be
dump truck full of trout coming at you. I mean, look at how some of those stockers, you know, some are swimming sideways and upside down, like easy picking.
Well, I see that video every so often pop up of, you know, the planes dumping the fish stocking into the lake. And
Yes.
and you know, with the way everybody's feelings are nowadays about, you know, how you hold a fish and you can't catch smallmouth off a bed, blah, blah, blah. But then they're
Can't
dropping
drop
those.
a trout from an airplane. Watch this,
Yeah,
guys.
watch this.
I got 1,000 of them in this one.
check it out.
Oh, that fish has net burn. Oh,
Yeah.
yeah. Well, you should see how it got here. They forgot to put a parachute on it.
Yeah. Those are funny.
Took a hard landing. Sorry.
Yeah, I think the adventure thing is something I want to spend a little bit more time on it. And it's not that I'm tired of the tournament talk, because it is such an important part of our industry. I find that to be the testing grounds for all the products. You want to know how good something's going to work, put it on an angler's boat, right? A professional angler's boat. But on the flip side, it would be nice, I think, to really kind of get back to what got me out of bed in the morning as a kid. And it's that adventure that you can have any day, anywhere, but that one trip you look forward to all year, right? I remember flipping through the Cabela's and Bass Pro catalogs and circling all the lures I wanted to get for this trip. And Dad would give me a $30 allotment, you know, and I could buy
This online
5 of them.
bait shopping is so bad for me.
That's
Bad.
Yeah, I just bought 27 of those yesterday.
Yeah.
Or calling in, like call Bass Pro.
Oh, yeah.
Back in
remember.
the day.
Yeah, I
How
remember that.
much do I have left? Oh.
It's a
What were
different-
those worms on sale?
It's a different day now, isn't it?
Way different.
God, that was such a good time going through that
the
catalog.
catalogs. Oh yeah.
I think they still send out a big one, but
Yeah.
I don't
get
think
some
I've
like
seen
the
one in a
lure
while.
parts catalogs and stuff, you know, and I love it. Love buying stuff. It sucks.
well, you know, the interesting thing is our largest demographic is that 50 to 65-year-old person.
Yeah.
You know, and it makes sense with the history of this organization that's what kind of leads the way. But those are also the most established, right? They have the extra money and they're able to spend it, and so it makes sense. That same with, you know, the boat buyers are largely, you know,
They can get
older than
what
us.
they want.
Mm-hmm. But yeah, so I mean, listen, this whole industry is evolving. I think that we got to have discussions about some of this stuff, and like, don't get comfortable, Evan. You know, Ted and I have lived some life, a little bit more than you, him more than me, and a friendly jab. But
That's
you know,
all good.
there's definitely change coming that I think we should be, if not alarmed by, at least aware of, and be read in on it. And it is everything right. The old saying is, the only thing that stays the same is that everything changes. I think that's something we can accept. But sometimes the traditional way of doing things is still the right way to do things, I think.
Stay informed.
Stay informed. I'm gonna forward you guys some surveys when I get them in.
That's good.
I get them like
Fire
twice
away.
a month.
Kick us
I'm
in
gonna
the-
forward you some
I don't.
yacht trips down the
Don't. Oh.
yacht trips down the Amazon River.
Oh.
Oh, yeah,
Wow,
we're
fine.
still-
I don't
we're
want you
still
there either. I'll do my
I was-
invention with Ted.
I thought you
Here
were
we
going
go.
somewhere else with that.
And anyone else, hit me up. Let's do it. Let's buy a boat out and
Sorry, honey.
Go
we're
catch some
going to the
peacocks.
Amazon.
Be a trip of a lifetime.
nice, cool
Oh,
as heck. She'd be like,
For sure.
dude, do it.
Well, so
Absolutely.
a lot of wives do go on these trips, and they like the El Salto has a spa.
Uh-oh.
Yeah, so like you get. I'm just saying, it's a good vacation for everybody. Hey, if somebody wants a custom rod, where can they look you up to maybe place an order?
Yeah, currently I would say hit me up on Facebook or Messenger. I've got a web store finally in the works. We're going to hammer that thing out and get that rolling, and look me up.
And you're going to have a number of like stock rods you have on hand, like some of your best
Absolutely.
sellers, so people can
Yeah.
kind of look through that. But if someone wants
Yeah.
something special,
If they want something special, yeah, I'll have tags on there to find me direct, email, and all
What's-
the good stuff.
is it just toxic rods? What's a
Yeah, Toxic Rod and Tackle. Yeah, email startignite@hotmail.com.
yeah? And
You'll find me.
gee whiz, I like you're right. There's ice rods. I've seen some of the ones you have. There are you have multi-species options, or is it all bass?
No, a lot of walleye, a lot of multi-species customs, and a good crew of walleye guys that have joined forces. So we've got some good stuff with that. Lots of ice. We've got a big selection of ice that we put out, and it's going well.
I
The
bought
goal
one
of
of
the
them.
summer is the web store. We got to get
Yes,
the web
get
store.
that going. That'd be dangerous for
Those
me.
product picks are,
Those
you know a guy. help
I
me
bought
out.
one of them orange. What was that? Power spoon rod last year.
Oh,
I
yeah.
bought it like right at the end of the year and ordered a reel, and then ice fishing was over.
Oh, no.
Never got to catch a fish on it. Strung it up, got it ready.
That was probably our top seller.
Dude, that thing's sweet. Like,
Yeah. For the little
Next year
the little
extravaganza.
finesse spoons for like crappie spoon
yeah.
specific rod.
I kind of feel like the ice environment has really been a growing segment of the custom rod world because
Big time.
there's a lot. They're so cheap. I mean, you go to Walmart and buy a $5 rod and reel combo almost, and that's an exaggeration. But to really get, at first you're like, oh, ice fishing. Do I really need that? Yes, you do, especially in a
they're
scenario where those fish are super negative.
Yeah.
Having a nice stick is a big time difference. And I mean, you guys got a lot of great options. I have had my hands on his. They're nice.
Oh, gotcha. Yeah, it's become really specialized, just like the other stuff. Long
If you're a
rods.
junkie, I suggest it. Look into getting a custom rod. And a lot of times that you will be able to find exactly what you want for your style of fishing, for your preferred technique. I can't say enough about the rod I have, Ted. It is very
thank
nice.
you.
So
Yeah, we get a lot of return business once people get a feel for that, and they're the quality and the connection to exactly what they want. They're like, yeah,
and it's made
I
with
want another one.
it's made with love by a guy that knows fishing,
That's right.
and I think that's a big deal.
And
so-
a lot of good guys to help me out.
Mm-hmm.
All you guys.
So Ted Stardig at Toxic Rods. If you want to look Evan up, he's great for an argument.
Oh, 100%.
I would totally post some shenanigans on his Facebook page. He might block you, but
Nobody's blocked.
you have no problem sharing your opinion,
Oh, not a bit.
and it's part of why I love you.
And I'll do it in
harmless.
person. I'm not much of a. I might not notice your Facebook message for a couple days. But,
Yeah,
you know,
well, I'm
fire
kinda,
away.
I've kind of
I'm
pulled
okay
away
with
from
it.
that
And,
too.
I mean, maybe we can argue it out in the boat too.
Oh,
I've been there and done that. The thing is, when arguing with Evan, you just can't win because he's so convinced.
Oh,
he's
you
on
can
the right
win.
path.
Just show up and beat me.
I'm not talking about fishing a tournament, but
I am.
I'm talking about just. See, here we go.
Here we
go.
I think he
Here
does
comes
this on
his
purpose.
adventure.
I think he
Yep,
does
yep.
this on purpose. He looks.
Oh,
for
it
ways
gets
to-
you. Look at him. He's just squirming in his seat over there. Can't hardly handle
that's
it.
awesome.
I asked you to do this because I knew you'd have a lot to say about anything. So
You ever want to have a good time? Fish a tournament with Thomas.
I have.
Yeah, he gets crabby.
It's all good.
Don't outfish him too bad.
Hey, back
Let him
in the
catch a
day, I
couple.
liked the pro-ams for a reason.
Yeah,
Nobody's telling me what to do.
Well, the bottom line is sometimes when you get two type A omega type men in the same boat, sometimes they butt heads.
That's for sure.
And you have
gotta. It takes a certain person to really wanna like. There's not a very many guys that like we can get in the boat and just jam together. Like me and John, we get in the boat together and like
that's right.
We just jive.
I've got a lifetime bass fishing partner in Jeremy. Like we can get in the boat and have a hell of a time. But there just comes a point where you kind of got to be the king of your own castle, and really what it gets down to is finding a fishing partner that you can stick with for a long period of time. They're hard to find. It's almost like a marriage, because once you get started, you're kind of committed, but like if you break up, it's pretty hard.
Right.
So
right.
anyway, I love you, bro. We're just a lot alike, man. We're just a lot alike, you and I.
That's for sure.
Only
I catch a few more bass, a little bit bigger.
Yeah, you do. That's true.
I did know a team that they stuck together forever, and I couldn't break into the circle because they both casted opposite. So for the dock thing, they were not breaking up.
That's like sitting at a table with a lefty where they're always elbowing you with their forehand. That's sometimes you got to just
try taking a
way.
non-bass boat guy skipping docks like I did last Saturday, like a self-proclaimed walleye guy. Boy, those raptors just come out of nowhere every single cast.
I'll tell you what, if there's one thing that I will never have a boat without, it is raptors, shallow water anchors. Yeah. I can't imagine not having a boat with those.
Oh, I've won so many tournaments with them
because
around here because of those.
Yeah.
Like I'll say I've won way more tournaments because of that than live scope.
Yeah.
Cut and dry.
Well, we should make those illegal. Ban shallow water anchors.
Ban them?
That's where I'm at. Ban them. It ain't fair.
I agree.
Get the chop.
Get the old water spike anchor with the chain on it and throw it out the back of the boat when you want to stop.
Right.
Huh?
This has been fun, guys. I really appreciate you coming in. We knocked it out of the park. This was a good conversation.
Good.
I'm going to go home.
Yeah, I'm hungry.
Get my boat ready for another tournament tomorrow
I know
morning.
you are. Hey, from Ted Stardig, Evan Blakley, I'm Thomas Allen. You have been tuning in to the LL Bean Studios and In-Fisherman Storyline podcast. We'll see you here next time.